Shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And we're going to make a big stink about our guest this week in the neighborhood. His name is Brantley Hall. Can you think of a more goyish name than Brantley Hall? But here he is all the way from Maryland because he is an academic and a scientist. He is assistant professor of biological sciences at the University of Maryland. His focus is all about gut biomes, whatever the hell those are. But the important thing is that he has a grant, I guess, to work on this discovery, and they're doing this pilot testing thing where they're getting recruits, and he'll explain what this all is. But it involves smart underwear. And let me tell you, if my underwear was smart, it wouldn't go near my tuchus. But ladies and gentlemen, won't you welcome to the neighborhood, Brantley Hall. Shalom, Brantley.
Hello, happy to be here.
Happy to see you here too. So let's talk immediately about this idea that you have about underwear that tells you about your health, and you've learned something already crucial about foofs. What is this?
Yeah, so we have created a new device. We call it the smart underwear. We think of it like a Fitbit for farts. We think that there's a huge need to objectively measure human flatus. And right now, it's only patient perception. So you go to the doctor and they ask how much you're farting. But in our opinion, that's not good enough. We need to measure it objectively.
Why is it important there's cancer, there's long COVID, there's Alzheimer's. Why farts?
So 1 in 5 people experience excess intestinal gas. It's a big problem. Yeah, a lot of people. And it's a big problem. And one of the bigger problems we have is we eat unhealthy diets typically. And switching to a healthy diet leads to a lot of farts in the average person. So we're trying to figure out how we can reduce intestinal gas. But before we can get there, we have to start with measurements. So right now it's unmeasured. So we're going to start with measurements and then work towards reduction.
So is this thing, it goes in here. I happen to have these handy. So, oh God. But, great. There, I'm sorry. All right. Yes, that's so the device is on there, on the underpants, on the tuchus of the thing, right?
Yep.
Yes. So is it counting the number of them, or is it just the elements of the gas, or what's it showing? What's it counting?
Yeah, it's an electrochemical gas sensor, and it measures the hydrogen produced by bacteria that end up in flatus.
But you chose not to do nitrogen, you chose not to do methane, you chose to do, why hydrogen?
It's a great question. So nitrogen is probably not produced by gut microbes in any appreciable amount. Flatus are mostly hydrogen and carbon dioxide. There's kind of a misnomer that methane is common. In some populations, methane is more common, but what actually we see in the U.S. population is methane is rare.
Except New Jersey, but yeah, right.
Yeah, so methane's pretty rare on average, and so hydrogen is exclusively produced by gut microbes, and so it's kind of a signal of their metabolism. So when microbes are degrading food from your diet, they produce hydrogen, and we can measure that to know what's going on in your gut.
And so where did I read that most people think that they foof 25, 30 times a day? You're saying already, even though you're just doing the experiment now, but you're already saying it's double? How is this?
Yeah. So the medical textbook said 14 plus or minus 6. Our first experiment was 32 per day. But I'll let you in on a secret. We've caught someone farting now over 200 times a day.
Was this a normal human? Was this an elephant?
They said they were normal human. Yeah, they said they were normal.
And if they're farting 200 times a day, that's about 8 times, 9 times an hour. I can't really do the math in my head there. Can they go on an elevator without it exploding?
I think they're going to crop dust the elevator for sure. Yeah.
So do you test smell, or that is beyond the limits or the parameters of your...
In our current device, we don't. But we have a larger device where we are measuring some more malodorous molecules. And it gives you insights into what type of fermentation is happening. So like when protein is fermented by gut microbes, they produce these malodorous molecules like hydrogen sulfide and methane thiol.
Whereas other things, so the usual milk, meat, Well, and God knows I don't mix the two. Milk, meat, what else will make it stink? Well, how come broccoli? Is a broccoli a protein?
It's not. An amazing question. And broccoli is kind of unique because there's a sulfated sugar called sulfoquinavose in the broccoli and cabbage and Brussels sprouts that microbes turn into hydrogen sulfide. So it's a different mechanism than protein, but exactly right. A path to malodorous flatulence for sure.
What made you choose? Back when you were going to be, Mommy, Daddy, I'm going to college. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going to be an assistant professor, which you are, Mazel tov. I assume you're going for tenure at some point.
Very
That's why you're
soon.
bothering
Yeah.
to do all this. So, all right, so I'm going to specialize in disease, not just diseases, but the flora, the fauna, the interstices of the intestines. When did you decide on this?
It's such an interesting question. I started studying mosquitoes when I was in undergrad, and I was studying genetics of mosquitoes, and we were working on sex determination of mosquitoes. And mosquitoes are a really fun organism, and they're so important. They're the deadliest animal by far. And we're trying to like prevent mosquito-borne disease. But I'll be honest, people really did not like my mosquito research because it was um, many reasons, but like mosquito research was very unpopular. So I finished my PhD and I was gonna kind of switch topics for my postdoctoral research. Typically, you don't do the exact same thing. So I decided to choose something that I thought was fun and that people thought was fun. And so gut microbes are really fun. And so I switched and went up to Harvard and did a postdoc, and we switched from mosquito genetics to gut microbial genetics, which is what I still do today. And so it's kind of weird how that went to farts, but we're actually like my lab is we're microbiologists and we're discovering how microbes perform the functions that they do to live in your gut. And so we were studying this in vitro. Microbes in your gut, they can't tolerate the atmospheric levels of oxygen. So we have to grow them in what's called an anaerobic chamber. And we were trying to measure hydrogen production in the anaerobic chamber, but it didn't work. And we got really frustrated. We're like, oh, what are we going to do? And so someone had the idea to take the sensor that we were putting inside the chamber outside of the chamber and fart on it and see if we could capture the signal. And it turns out it worked great. And here we are.
So, and this someone wasn't you, by the way. This
That
someone is
was
now.
me.
It was
Guilty.
yeah,
Guilty.
yeah. Were people watching you do this, or did you go into a room and?
We took it home. We took it home. Yeah.
So what was your? I mean, here's the interesting thing. You had it ready, and then when you had a dinner, and then you said, "I'm gonna run," or I mean, were you or just stand there and wait for an hour until?
The first one. First one.
So. Here's the deal. When you are still looking, is your I'm going to call it an experiment. Is that what you would call it?
Sure. Yeah, it's a human clinical trial.
Clinical trial. Which, by the way, if are you still accepting recruits?
Oh, you can get on the wait list, but more than 5,700 people have signed up
Is it just in Maryland or across the country? I mean, how far
across
do you
the
have?
U.S.
Across
Yeah.
the U.S. By the way, flatus.info is the website. Flatus, flatus.info. So, yes, they're booked. No surprise. But if you want to get on the list. So, what does a person have to do? You showed me the underpants model thing there. 24/7 is when you just wear underpants.
Exactly. And you just attach it. We try to get people to do 22 hours a day. If you can get up to 24, it's okay. You have to charge it once a day for about 10 or 15 minutes. So you can't wear it exactly 24 hours a day, but yeah, 3 days in a row. And then you can continue to wear it if you want to, but that's how you would
So it's
complete.
only it's a 3 day experience, not like
Yeah,
weeks.
exactly.
Oh. So let's say 22 hours a day, but like if you go to the bathroom, right? You have to pull your pants down. Does
Exactly.
that throw off the experiment or what?
Not so much. Yeah, that's why we say 22 hours. We give you some time to be, undressed doing various things. And like, I'll tell you, most activities are okay, but cycling is the one that doesn't work out so well. Um,
Oh, what if people are, no joke, what if they're exercising? If they want to go
most,
for
most
1 hour, they
exercise is
can,
fine. No
yeah,
problem.
yeah.
People have done kickboxing. Someone ran a 5K. Someone did hours of volleyball practice. But most exercise, someone did rugby. Most exercise is fine.
It's like, while you're wearing this device,
No
this
problem.
thing.
Cycling though is probably not recommended.
Now, you may not believe this, but I actually do have this question here. Do sharts count?
I mean, we'll detect it. Yeah,
So,
we'll detect
but
it.
I mean, what if people sometimes happens, or people
It
get the
happens.
thing,
Yeah.
if the thing gets messy on the back of your undie pants.
Yeah. So I mean, the device is outside, So there's just a snap on the inside, and we include alcohol wipes in our thing. So between days, you can kind of like clean it off. We recommend cleaning it between days, and yeah.
So is it like a GPS where it reports back to you, or they have to mail the device back to you and the information's on it like a flash drive?
There's a phone app, kind of like a Fitbit. So you upload the data to your phone, you just press the transfer data button, and then from your phone it comes to us. So you don't have to mail it back.
Where did you get the technological? Because the idea to count farts and to see what that's one thing, but the technological way of measuring and doing this, what gave you guys that idea?
Yeah, I mean, we started from the microbial measurements that people had done before, and we've benefited from the democratization of technology. A lot of tech has gotten really small, so like AirPods are a big driver of small Bluetooth chips, and so we're benefiting from kind of the tech advances and have like rode the wave basically of miniaturization. And we developed it in our lab and tested out different ones. It didn't work every time. There's been 12 revisions of the device, and not all of them worked, but we've gotten to a point where it works now.
What did you learn from like iteration one to
Yeah.
iteration 12? Like what didn't work that you thought would, or what did you have to tweak?
Here's a funny one. Don't make it square. People like circles
Yeah.
rather than squares. The first one was a square. It
Can you
sounds dumb when
understand why that wouldn't work? I mean,
I did the
do you
square one, but
understand?
yeah.
There's a basic biological understanding, even
Yeah,
though it's going over the whole thing. It's not going in the thing; it's going on
yeah.
top, and it could be any shape. Honestly, it could be a hexagon, but
Could
that
be.
would be painful.
I think a circle's good. There's no wrong way to wear a circle. That's the key thing. It's like any orientation works.
Oh, yeah. But it does fit directly over the not to the side. I mean, it has to be right over the
Yeah,
hole.
adjacent to the perineum. Yeah.
Oh, right, adjacent to the perineum. That'd be a great album title. No, it wouldn't. So let me ask you some other questions, though. In terms of these, a lot of universities, a lot of scientists and academics are complaining that this has been a very scary, bad time for going for funding for scientific research. Have you been touched by that at your university and your colleagues in terms of what you're allowed to ask for grants for or funding or anything, or yeah, protected-ish?
There's been a lot of fear about like what might happen, but like fingers crossed, so far so good. The kind of proposed cuts haven't actually like translated into the actual cuts. So like the Congress didn't cut the NIH by the amount requested by the president. And so
Okay.
we feel very lucky about that so
So
far.
some of your funding from the NIH, is that
Yes, we have a study using this device. We funded mostly by the state of Maryland, actually, through various funding mechanisms from Maryland. But we do have one study funded by NIDDK, and they funded a study that we're measuring basically the smelly molecules.
Oh,
In
that's
our
second
lab.
back.
Yeah,
So how much altogether? How much is like not a quarter of a million, but almost right? How much have you raised to do this study?
yeah. The NIH grant is about 1.7 million total, and we've raised about,
1.7 million. Oh, I thought it was like wow, wow. Okay, yeah.
and then the others are like we've raised about half a million for other sources.
How many people are in your lab?
Right now, 8.
Okay, all right. So it adds up, and it does. So is it the thing that someone will wear this for 3 days, right? Then ship it, box it, send it to you in a week, and this is a constant renewing of data because not everybody's sending it all in at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. And if we ship you a device, you don't have to send it back now. So you can keep it.
Oh boy, a
You can frame it
souvenir!
if you want. Like,
Wow. But did everybody start at the same time,
nah,
or
it's
every
just
week you get more and more people?
exactly. It's building
They're,
over
they
time.
come. So 5,000 is your goal, or 10, or 150,000? I mean, what's your thing there?
I would be super happy if we got 5,000 successful. Yeah, totally.
So are you still getting like null whatevers or the device malfunctions occasionally, or what you do about that?
Yeah, and this is what we're learning actually. I mean, when you make a brand new category of devices, weird things happen. And so I absolutely love like the stories that people tell me. People like call me and talk about what went wrong. And we learn from so many people. So like if you're wearing a device and you have issues, like please call me. I would love to hear your personal experience. Someone lost their device and we're actually changing the way that it snaps on because it wasn't clear that like it was attached firmly or not. So
Can't
someone
you just do Velcro? I mean, it's sticking on
good
a
question.
thing.
But how would you attach the Velcro to the underwear? You have to tape it on. And by the way, one of our revisions, at first we were taping using double-sided tape. It's an interesting tape. It's designed to attach strapless dresses, is like the purpose of the tape. So it's very strong tape. Um,
But
but it was destroying people's underwear. So we switched.
in 3 days.
Yeah. When you pulled it off, it would like rip the threads. It was very
Oh,
strong tape. So we switched to a snap system now that it's doesn't cause any issues.
no, I don't understand. How would you snap something onto undie
Yeah,
pants?
sure. Let me grab one and show you. So there's a snap, and it's very small, so it's hard to see, but the snap goes on the inside, and then the device has a corresponding hole in it on the other side, and then it just snaps together and sandwiches in the underwear via
But it's like
friction.
a magnet. How does the snap part stick to the thing?
It's just friction. It's kind of like it fits very tightly, and then it just snaps in, and
Oh,
it holds.
so both sides will. Oh, great.
And it's pretty strong, right? I mean, you could rip it off, but like it's not going anywhere.
But by the way, your study sample is random. Is it men, women, all ages? Is it 18 plus? What is it?
It's 18 plus, and we're trying to kind of get the broadest spectrum of diversity we can across like geography, demography, sex, so we can figure out what really normal is. Like right now, maybe dozens of people were measured with a very invasive method in the 80s to determine like the baseline level of flatus. But we don't have in this millennium any measurements of free living people to figure out what the normal amount of farts are.
Well, no, but if you comb through the data, do you have the thing where, oh, this is rather interesting. Hispanic people fart 20% more times because of their diet. Can you go deep in the data, or you're not allowed because it's such a diverse thing?
I We don't have enough people to do that just yet. We might do that, but it's something to consider.
I
We
mean,
we
look at the Jewish diet. I mean, I eat pastrami 3 times a day. I don't have to guess. My wife tells me that 100, 150 times a day after I have pastrami sandwich with a Dr. Brown's, it's there. It's bad. It's not going to be the same as, well, would it be the same as maybe a black person or a Hispanic or an Eskimo also eating the same sandwiches? Or maybe their guts and their bellies are different somehow.
Yeah, there's some genetic features, like for example, the lactase tolerance gene or like lactose tolerance is different across people. But what was really interesting is we find in microbiomes is that kind of the environment is a bigger source of individual variation than genetics. And so where you live is kind of like the biggest factor.
Now, speaking of where you live or where you work, certainly at this university, are you? I mean, you're obviously getting more media, more stories written about you than the average scientist trying to do a couple of articles and getting a study done. I mean, has the university been very happy about this, or they're like, oh, great, look, we're getting all these articles about this professor we have. Oh, what is he working on? Yeah, okay, we won't put that in our weekly briefing thing or our weekly briefs. Yeah.
They put it in the weekly brief, so I don't know. I think they're happy with it. Um, it was on Howard Stern the other day, and that is kind of like the I don't know. It's pretty far. Yeah.
Did you ever think that you would be mentioned on the Howard Stern show? I mean, think about it.
I didn't. And one of the producers actually got our device. They didn't ask us. They just signed up really fast. And they wore it and described their experience with it.
Oh my God. Yay, 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 yay. So, what is though? All right, so you do the study over the course of months, I guess it would take, right? And then the outcome is an article to our book, a what? A bigger study, what?
It's a journal article about probably the baseline flatulence patterns of Americans.
And do you think you could also maybe dumb that down into articles that would go more into, I don't know, Scientific American, but
Yeah, yeah.
the New York Post, perhaps, or is already covering this kind of thing, I'm sure.
We'll probably write a fun story about like, men versus women or like what people are eating, like broccoli causes a lot of farts or something. There will be some fun and stuff. People take pictures of their food as well. So I think food is going to be
Oh,
the biggest like differentiator.
no, so did you ever measure? You were probably patient number one. No, you're not allowed to be part of the study, but
I'm not part of the study, but I'm patient number one. I know what you mean.
are you, because you differentiate into 3 levels. If you go to flagus.info, you'll see there's normal, quote unquote, and then there's like 2 versions of abnormal. Even the Zen people who eat beautifully and really great, but that's not, quote, normal. because their farts are so fewer, right?
Exactly. And I mean, those people are the ones we're kind of most interested in because, like, we would predict, like, they should have a lot of flatness, but they don't. And so, if we can understand why that is, maybe we could translate that to people who do experience more gas to make them more comfortable and, able to eat a healthier diet without experiencing such negative symptoms.
So where do you personally, if you don't mind sharing, fall on the level of Zen to monster meat eater person?
I'm definitely not a Zen, but I fall in the normal range. Although through like self-experimentation have caused some pretty high days.
Like, what did you eat? What
Uh,
meal did you have?
yeah, so sorbitol is my personal
Oh,
trigger. It's
yeah.
very common in prunes, but also in sugar-free gummy bears. There's some amazing Amazon reviews of these sugar-free gummy bears about people eating them before flying on an airplane. If you want to have
The Haribo bears. That is famous. Now I wonder. We worry so much about AI making fake things. I wonder if a lot of those reviews, because there's so many of them, how many were just getting on the bandwagon to write funny things about diarrhea, and diarrhea is very funny. But some of them were probably true, and others were like trying to be as disgusting as possible, and
yeah,
maybe just telling stories.
for
But
sure. But
if
the first
yeah.
few were pre-ChatGPT. So yeah,
Long ago. This is going back
pre-2023.
10, 15 years. We're talking
Yeah,
about these reviews on the
exactly.
Facebook. And believe me, I've had my share of the Haribo kosher gummy bears. And you can't even be in a shul with me. They have to vacate a
Yeah.
300-yard circumference around me when I
You have
eat
to be
those.
careful with them. I believe that they've changed the formulation now to make them less flatogenic.
Well, do you remember also it was a potato chip that was made with Olestra 20
Yeah,
years ago. This is not about farts. This is more.
Pringles, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So is that sorbitol
fat-free
also?
Pringles.
Or
No,
no?
that it's Olestra. You
It
named
was
it.
like,
And
yeah.
that's an oil. I actually don't know the story of why that caused anal leakage, but it did, and they discontinued it, didn't they? So yeah,
Is that your Mount Olympus? You're working on farts now, and then in 5 or 10 years, when you become associate and then full professor, you'll be like, aha! Now I can do diarrhea.
it's something to work towards for sure. I'm happy with farts at the moment.
Are you? Do you have a wife and kids? Are you? What's your situation there?
I'm married, but no kids.
Wait, mazel with the marriage. What does your wife think of your
My wife is also
trajectory?
a scientist, and she loves it. Like this is awesome. Yeah.
What is she? What is? You say she's a scientist. So what does she study?
She's a computational biologist and approaches the microbiome from kind of a dry lab side. So, just typing at the computer and doing genomics.
Genomics. I can't even. My brain. I can barely read Hebrew back to forward. Let me tell. By the way, we're talking with Brantley Hall. Like I haven't mentioned your name enough. Brantley Hall. So, and do you have any memories? The producer of this program, Dave. He has always had a terrible, terrible grudge against Harvard because Harvard rejected him, as did Yale. Goddamn son of a bitch bastards. But you were there. Was Harvard incredible?
It was incredibly different, that's for sure. I
Right.
learned a lot. It was a very competitive place.
Right. But how did you not feel squelched? How did you know, get your cojones in a row and, be competitive against competitors?
Yeah, I think I had to kind of like be much more aggressive and assertive than I was at Virginia Tech in kind of a rural area. It was kind of shocking the cultural difference at first.
Well, how is UMD compared to Harvard?
UMD is like a warm bath. It's very calming, very polite, not really the same kind of atmosphere.
Are you originally from Maryland?
I'm from Blacksburg, Virginia.
But so not really all that far away. So what do you do when you are not counting fart data? Like what are your hobbies with your wife or not with your wife, whatever?
I love riding roller coasters. Um,
Really?
yeah,
If you ever do the diarrhea study, put me on it because I'll give you some. You put me on a roller coaster even before it
really.
starts. Like, why do you like this?
I love the airtime that you get when you go down the first drop or over airtime hills. It's just great.
I'm sorry, what is an airtime?
Like when you have zero G's, you lose the experience of gravity,
Oh.
like the feeling of falling.
Well, wouldn't you want to go floating in one of those things or parachuting or something like that? Or
I haven't yet, but that does sound fun.
Cool. So, before we listen, let me make sure I have enough. What is? Oh, yes. I'm just checking my notes here to make sure I ask you all the important questions here. What is the Human Flatus Atlas? You don't get this in AAA.
Okay, so this is our study to determine the baseline of normal human flatness. And this is like, we're limited to the US right now. We would love to expand further, but there's kind of regulatory challenges to other countries. So we're limited to the US for now.
Actually, when you were figuring out whether to do this study or not, you obviously had to do literature review and all that. Are there other countries that are doing, if not this particular device, similar things? It's like, this is too close. We have got to shift because otherwise we're imitating what they're doing.
We're the first ones to make a wearable device for sure. Australia is an epicenter of fart research. I don't know why, but Monash University is like the place. And they have
because they go down under. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes.
They had an initiative called Chart Your Fart. And so they were asking people, they had an app, and they were asking people's perception of flatus, but no wearable device. So,
wow. We are talking with this academic with us, Brantley Hall. Brantley, last question before we let you go, and we thank you so much for being so much fun and for discussing this really fun scientific thing. Unfart related, or maybe it is, since you've been a professor for how long now?
5.5 years.
5.5 years. What is the most mind-blowing scientific paper that you have ever read, or scientific experiment that you've ever seen conducted?
That's a hard question. Can I give you a mind-blowing one? So I went to the Ig Nobel Prize when I was in Cambridge. And
please explain what that is. We've done this on the show, but please remind people the Ig Nobel Prize. Yes.
Yeah. And so it's not the Nobel Prize, it's the Ig Nobel Prize. And so it's for kind of farcical research, or research that does contribute to science, but has like a funny dimension to it. And the study was that people's kidney stones were passed through riding on roller coasters.
And did they prove anything that
It worked.
So it was not only a seemingly facetious study, but they actually did it. And so do they now recommend that people with kidney stones go to Disney World or Knott's Berry Farm or whatever?
I don't know if there's a medical recommendation, but there's at least one paper that you could cite if you're trying to, tell your doctor, please prescribe roller coasters. You could have one paper for evidence.
Wow! Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you. But it does lead to one more question that I guess I ought to ask. What are your thoughts, and feel free to be as honest or dishonest as you like, about RFK, the health guy, since you deal sort of in health?
No comment, yeah.
But you're pro-vaccine, I assume, and things like that.
I'm not political. I study gut microbes.
You study the microbe thing. Well, I hope your gut stays incredibly healthy, incredibly in the range of normal, no matter what you eat. You and your lovely and talented and scientific wife, too, of course. And remember, folks, do you recommend that people still get on the waiting list at flatus.info or
Please do.
Yeah.
Please do. We're going to do more studies as well. So there's going to modify, and maybe we'll have some dietary interventions. It'll be fun.
I'm signing up. I will skew the results no matter what I do, because that's my body.
That's okay. We need the extremes.
True. I can be the median and the mean, and I don't even know what either of those words mean. But we have had a meaningful and delightful chat with Brantley Hall. I want to wish you, as I said, health and good things with your studies from here on in. Thank you for being here with us. Shalom to you.
Thank you.